afternoon, or good evening. Come and find your comfortable seated position and deepen your breath. Relax your shoulder blades down the back and shift your shoulders back so they're over your hips. And if that seems impossible, grab one of your blocks or a pillow if you're at home, or a blanket, and place whatever it is underneath your sit bones and your hips. Pull your belly in. Now shift the shoulders back over your hips. Slide the back of the skull so they're straight over the back of your hips. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. If it's not, pick a spot about 4 feet in front of you on the floor and soften your gaze there. The intent is to support your low back with the strength of your foundation. So your foundation is everything from the top of the hips all the way down. So this includes active feet. So already right here, stretch your toes apart and start lifting your toes in the direction of the knees, even while you're sitting. And then press into the outer edges of your feet. Press into your sit bones. So no matter what part of your body is on the floor, that's going to be your foundation. So this includes, in your seated pose, your active feet, your legs, and your sit bones. Press down. And as you inhale, feel your breath, starting at the very tip of your tailbone, and pull the breath up along your spine and into the base of your skull. Now keep that lift that you just created by pulling your belly in slightly as you exhale all the breath out. Keep pulling the belly in to help expel all your breath out. Use today's practice to feel the strength of your foundation through your active feet, through your deep breathing, and through engaging your legs, your sit bone muscles, the bottom part of your buttocks. Get these parts stronger and really stand into your own strength to support your low back and your whole spine. The pranayama today is 75 pumps of Kapalabhati, followed by alternate nostril breathing. So come into Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together. If this is uncomfortable anywhere, you could either sit back up on your block or your blanket or pillow. And if that's still uncomfortable, come back into your easy cross leg, but switch the cross of your legs. Kapalabhati is the short, sharp exhales. And if you need a demo, stop the video here and go back to the previous class, the class 3 of 6 in intermediate. If you're pregnant, instead what you're doing is deep breaths into your low back ribs, mid back ribs, and upper back ribs, staying in your ujjayi breath. But everyone else, you'll be pumping the belly in on the exhale, releasing the belly to let your inhale be passive. Start with partial inhale. Short, sharp exhales. Take a deep inhale in. Hold the breath at the top of the inhale. Unless you're pregnant, you're just doing Ujjayi breaths. And then slowly exhale all the breath out. Keep that lift, keep that height. Alternate nostril breathing. I'm going to talk you through this. I'm mirroring you here. So bring up your right hand. Place down the first two fingers. Then turn your palm to face you. Start off with your thumb. Gently close off the right nostril with your thumb. Exhale all the breath out to get empty. Now to start your alternate nostril breathing, take a deep inhale in through the left nostril. Pinch your nose closed. If you're pregnant, you're lifting your thumb and going on to your exhale. But if you're not pregnant, hold the breath. Then lift your thumb, exhale all the breath out, get empty. Take a deep inhale through the right side. Pinch your nose closed unless you're pregnant. Then lift your ring finger, exhale all the breath out, get empty. That is one round. Do 2 more rounds on your own. And if you lose track of if you're on the left or right, it doesn't matter. Just feel for softening your breath and pressing into your sit bones. Moving on to my last round, keep pressing into your feet, press into whatever part of your body's on the floor. When you're done with your last round, bring both hands back onto either the floor or somewhere on your legs. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Come back into your Ujjayi breath, lifting up through the bottom low back, the top of your low back. Then start lifting your mid ribs up, then your top ribs as you inhale and get taller. Exhale, pull the belly in, so you're keeping that height, but then check out what's going on with your shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades and your shoulders want to do that work, but it's about using your abdominal muscles, using the muscles along your back to lift up. Gently open your eyes and come onto your back. Grab your block. We're going to start with abs if they block. Place the block on your pubic bone or close to it between your thighs. You could do this basic abs with a block version. If you're pregnant, you're doing this, keeping the head down, no breath holds, no pulling the belly in, feet stay on the floor, head stays on the floor. It's basically a pelvic tilt, but you're squeezing your block the whole way. So it's exhale, scoop your tailbone towards the back of the knees. Inhale, curl your pubic bone down and away from your belly button. Your low back may lift off the floor just 1/4 of an inch. Sacrum stays on the floor. Active feet. Everyone else, clasp your hands behind the base of your skull. Bring the head and the hands back down. If you have further to go, you could start right away with the knees over the hips. the ankles straight up from the knees or the legs straight up towards the ceiling for abs of the block. Spread your breath into the low back and the bottom back ribs.
Hi, may I speak to Forrest, please?
Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Now lift a little higher, pull your low belly down. Inhale, bring the shoulders and head to the floor. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your block. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Keep pressing up through either your knees if the legs are bent or the balls of the feet. If legs are straight, pull your belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Hold the breath, scoop the tailbone up, squeeze your prop. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Get a little higher off of your shoulder blades. Pull your belly down. Inhale, shoulders and head to the floor. Do 2 more rounds on your own.
Take it day by day, and then just reaching out and seeing how operations wise we can help or anything we try to do. So yeah. You still have my contact info, do you?
When you're done with your second round, we're moving into 2-part twisting abs of the block. So you can choose again to keep your legs straight, bend them at 90 degrees, or even bring the feet down to the floor. If you're pregnant, you're continuing with, it's called abless with a block.
Be safe.
But it's basically like a pelvic tilt to keep squeezing your block. Everyone else, inhale, lift your head and shoulders away from the floor. Hold the breath, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your left thigh, and pull your low belly towards the floor. Breathe in deeply into your upper back. Come back to center. Hold the breath, squeeze your block. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your right thigh, and pull your belly towards the floor. Stay up. Inhale, come back to center. Hold the breath, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your left thigh. Make sure you're lifting away from the floor through the left shoulder blade. Pull your low belly down. Breathe in deeply into your mid-side ribs. Come back to center. Hold the breath, squeeze your prop. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up, bring both elbows towards your right thigh, and pull your low belly down. Inhale, come back to center. Do 1 more round on your own. When you're done, inhale, bring the head back to the floor. Bring the feet back to the floor. Move your block off to the side and breathe in. Feel. Feel how the more you strengthen your abdominal muscles, the more you'll support your low back. Set up for bridge. Graze the back of your heels with your longest fingertips. Feet hips width apart. Stretch your arms away from the hips. Palms up. Active feet, press into your feet. Really stand in the strength of your foundation. Even though right now you're pretty much lying on the floor, press into your feet. Breathe in along your whole spine. Exhale, scoop the tailbone up. Lift your hips away from the floor. Relax the back of your skull, your neck, your jaw. Even play with this, separating the backs of your teeth. Press into your feet. Squeeze the sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs in the direction of the knees and toward your tailbone. Inhale from there. Stretch your sternum towards the chin. Exhale, squeeze your sit bone muscles. Slide your tailbone towards the back of the knees. Moving into rolling bridge. Inhale, press into the feet. Squeeze your sit bone muscles. Slide your tailbone towards the back of the knees. Exhale, slowly come down, scooping your tailbone towards the back of the knees the whole way down. Make length through your spine. Push into your feet. Inhale, scoop your tailbone up, lift the hips up. Squeeze your sit bone muscles. Exhale, slowly come down in increments. Upper back, mid back, low back. Keep scooping your tailbone up the whole way down.
This is Kai with FedEx Services. Did I catch you?
Press into your feet. Inhale, scooping the tailbone up. Lift your hips up. Feel that strength of your legs, your active feet, your sit bone muscles, your buttocks.
And I know Cargo 7 Pictures is part of that network.
Exhale, slowly come down. Keep pressing into your feet, pulling the feet towards your hips isometrically, so you're pulling the spine towards your heels. Do 2 more like this on your own.
Okay. Can I leave my contact information just in case? Okay, sure. My name's Kai. My number is 646-469-3595, and my email address is kai.han@fedex.com.
And when you're done, bring the heels of the hands and the thumbs into your hip creases for back traction. Press forward into your hands. Breathe in from the tip of your tailbone all the way up to the bottom of your skull along your spine. Exhale, you may press the low back into the floor. Some people find that feels really good. But if that doesn't feel really good, you might play with keeping your sacrum down, but lifting your low back away from the floor about 1/4 of an inch. I like to do both. Moving with my breath, so it's an ever so slight tucking the tailbone, or it's ever so slight pelvic tilt rather. Slow movements. Gently release, turn all the way over onto your side. Use your hands to inhale, press yourself back up to sit. Then use your bottom hand on your cheek to lift the head back up. Cat cow. Come onto your hands and knees. Again, if being on your hands and knees is really uncomfortable, cat cow is available in this standing squat. Feet are about hips width or slightly wider, hands on your thighs. Even if they're low, just make sure they're not on your knees. Straighten the arms as much as is available. Inhale, let your belly puff forward, just moves forward and up. Exhale, round the back towards the back of the mat. Tuck your chin, pull your belly in. And you can keep doing that. If you're pregnant, you're just skipping the pulling the belly in part. If you're doing this on hands and knees, come onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Inhale, let your belly drape, pull the chest forward and up. Flatten the tops of the feet onto the floor. Exhale, round the back towards the ceiling, pull your belly in. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Inhale, tuck the toes, drag the chest forward, belly drapes. Exhale, press into the tops of the feet, round the back towards the ceiling, pull your belly towards the spine. Do this 2 or 3 more times, following your own breath and feeling how this undulation of the spine helps you to lengthen it. When you're done, turbo puppy is where we're going. So walk your hands forward 4 inches. Bend the elbows halfway towards the floor. Now look up a little bit before you relax your neck. Look at your elbows, both of them, one at a time. And see that your elbows are lined up with your wrists from front to back. So don't have your elbows winging out to the sides. Don't squeeze your elbows in so much that they're narrower than the width of your wrists. slide your upper arm bones down towards the floor. Breathe into your upper back. Exhale, wrap the shoulder blades. Squeeze your elbows towards each other, just not so much that they're getting narrower than your wrists. And relax your neck. Here, press into the tops of the feet, and if it's more comfortable to press into tucked toes, do that. Pull your belly in a little bit unless you're pregnant. You can stay here, but everyone breathe in deeply into your upper back from the bottom tip of one shoulder blade to the bottom tip of the other. Exhale, wrap the shoulder blades more strongly. Upper arm bones move towards the floor without the elbows actually moving down. If you have further to go, tuck the toes, hips towards the ceiling. You can keep the knees quite bent if that's better for your low back or your knees. Or if you have further to go and your hamstrings feel okay, straighten your legs. But don't straighten your elbows. Get your breath deep. Use your breath to support your spine and your low back. Exhale, sit bones up and back. So you're already stretching your low back towards the ceiling. Pull your front bottom ribs in towards the spine. Then lower the knees to the floor. Just for a moment. Come back into down dog or turbo dog. We're gonna walk forward. If this does not work for your knees or your hips, come to stand in any way that feels good for you. Everyone else who's forward folding, bend your knees a little bit. Get your sit bones way back so the knees stay over your ankles. Pull your belly in. I'm going to show 2 ways to come up. If your low back is really tweaky and you need the support, you're going to put your hands on your thighs. Pull your belly in to come up, then straighten your legs. If you have a little further to go, sit bones still stay way back. Inhale, you can reach your arms forward. Sit bones back, arms forward. Push into your feet and stand up from there. Keep pulling your belly in. Sun salutations. Come to the front of your mat. Getting ahead of myself. Before sun salutations. Agni, Sara in horse stance. Separate your feet 4 feet apart. Rotate your toes out, 45-degree angle. Bend your knees coming onto your horse. If you're pregnant, you're not doing Agni Sara, no pulling the belly in. What you're doing instead is working on getting your sit bone muscles to squeeze and sinking your pelvis down. Keep pressing into your feet so you're really feeling that strong foundation. Everyone else is doing the same thing. We're just adding Agni Sara to this. I'm going to demo Agni Sara. I'm going to lift my shirt so you can see what's going on in my belly. Agni Sara is similar to Uddiyana, which we did not do today, but it's exhaling all the breath out, getting empty, and then pulling your belly in, staying empty, just pulling your belly in, letting it go, pulling it in, letting it go. Do that as many times on the holding the breath out. When you need to inhale, you let your belly go, then breathe in. So it looks and sounds like this. So we're going to do that together. If you're at home and you'd like to lift your shirt so you can air out your belly, and you might be able to see your belly coming out a little bit, do that. Come into back traction, everyone, even if you're pregnant. Hands somewhere on your thighs. Start straightening your arms. Shoulders can hike up a lot. Sink a little lower on your horse. Take a deep inhale in. Exhale forcefully all the breath out. Get empty. Pump your belly in and out. Keep holding your breath out. Feel how this massages your low back. Let your belly go. Breathe in. One more like this on your own. When you're done with your second round of Uddiyana, twisting horse, if your low back can tolerate this. I'm going to mirror you here. So straighten your left arm. Inhale, twist towards your right thigh. Let your neck hang, or relax rather, let your head hang. Inhale through the left side ribs. Exhale, get those sit bone muscles down. Sink lower on your horse as you come deeper into your twist. The other side, inhale, push through your right hand on the mid part of your thigh. Twist towards your left foot and thigh. If your left wrist is tweaky, you can bring the forearm onto your thigh. Relax your neck. Then inhale, slowly come back to center. Sink a little lower onto your horse, shoulders over your hips. Press into your feet strongly. Inhale, stand up. Oh, that feels good. Then heel toe your feet back underneath your hips. And now it's time for sun salutations. If you know you need padding, you could place a blanket or a second mat across the middle of your mat. You can also use a small piece of rubber knee padding and place it under whichever knee is back. My mat at home is really thick and dense, so I don't need extra padding. Press into your feet, spread your toes, lift your toes. Shoulders over the back of your hips. Shoulder blades down the back. Activate your feet. Inhale, pull your breath up from the bottom of your tailbone all the way through the sacrum, through the spine, to the bottom part of your skull. Feel how when you did that, you just lifted your ribs up. Exhale, pull the belly in. Keep that lift without hiking up your shoulders. Inhale into your side ribs, expand there. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Squeeze your sit bone muscles, sliding your tailbone down. Inhale, lift the arms up, the ribs up, but not the shoulders. Exhale, bend the knees, come down, pulling the belly in. Keep the sit bones way back so the knees stay over your ankles. Lower down. Keep the knees bent in this forward fold. So your belly is resting on your thighs. Lunge, inhale, lightly step the left foot back. Bring the knee down, top of the foot to the floor. If you're ready, hands can move onto your thighs or even up overhead. You can even just keep the hands down on the floor or on 2 blocks. Plank, exhale, hands down. Inhale, step back. Pull your belly in, pull the front bottom ribs in. Lower the knees. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Move your hands forward in low cobra. Bring the forehead to the floor. We're going to do this move called unclogging the low back. So everyone, lift your right leg away from the floor. Of course, didn't say this earlier, but if you're pregnant, no pressure on your belly, no pressure on the baby. So what you can do instead is come up onto your knees and do camel with your hands on your hips or a chest opener on your knees. So it's people on the floor, unclogging the low back. Lift your right leg straight up from the floor. Inhale, pigeon toe that whole leg so the inside of your thigh reaches towards the ceiling a little bit. Exhale, push back through the ball of the foot, lower the leg to the floor, top of the foot on the floor. Inhale, lift your left leg up, pigeon toe that leg, inner thigh reaches towards the ceiling. Exhale, press back through the ball of the foot, lower the leg. You may have to redo the right leg a little bit, or maybe both legs a little bit, to even out your legs. Now, even if you're pregnant and doing a chest opener or a camel with hands on the hips, everyone squeeze your sit bone muscles down the backs of your thighs. If you're on the floor, low cobra. Curl the pubic bone into the floor. Inhale, press into the hands, dragging your ribs forward. Hands are 12 inches in front of the line of the shoulders. Pull the chest forward, lower down. Hands underneath the shoulders. Exhale, back into your down dog. Wrap your shoulder blades. Lunge, inhale, lightly step the left foot forward. Right knee down. Hands where they work for you. Hands down. Exhale, forward fold. If that feels great for your spine and your low back to bend the knees, do that. Inhale, pushing into your active feet. Stand up, pull the belly in. Exhale, hands at heart center. Now it's fun time. 3 rounds on your own. 1 round is 1 leg back, 1 leg forward. The next round is the right leg back and the right leg forward. If you lose track of which leg or you lose track of which movement comes next, go with whatever feels good. And no matter what you do, support your low back and the whole length of your spine by using your abdominal muscles, squeezing your sit bone muscles. Activate your feet, no matter which pose you're in. You're on your own. When you're done with your sun salutations, come and stand at the front of the mat and press into your active feet. Isometrically squeeze your legs towards each other. Squeeze your sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Inhale from the bottom of the spine all the way to the top inside of your skull, stretching each vertebrae up from the one below it. Exhale, pull the belly in. Squeeze those sit bone muscles to slide your tailbone towards the floor. So you're lengthening your low back, supporting your low back. Be serious with some standing poses. Come into chair. Inhale, knees over the ankles, sit bones back, chest forward and up. Exhale, forward fold, hang over your legs. Keep pressing into your feet, pull your belly in. Bend the knees, inhale, scoop your ribs forward. Like you're in low cobra, get your spine long. Plant the hands, exhale. Step back into your plank. Keep pulling the belly in. Keep squeezing the sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Lower all the way to the floor. You can bring the knees down or keep them up. Boat, clasping hands behind the hips. If this hurts your shoulders, grab a strap. Grab your strap and have about a foot in between each hand. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the legs if your low back can tolerate it. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other and drag them down the back. Lower down, bring the hands beneath the shoulders. Exhale into your down dog. Warrior two with shoulder shrugs. Step your left foot straight forward between your hands. Press into both feet, those active feet, to stand up. Sit bones down towards the floor. Squeeze them. Relax your arms. Spread your deep breath in between your shoulder blades. Hold the breath. Shrug the shoulders straight up. Squeeze straight back without jutting your front ribs forward. Exhale, squeeze. Drag your shoulder blades down your back. Spread your breath into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze straight back with the shoulder blades. Get your collarbones wide. Exhale, drag down the back, not using your arms. Balloon your breath into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades. Add your elbows, squeeze, drag down your back. Relax your arms, do another round on your own. Bring your arms up. Inhale into extended warrior variation. Bring your left forearm on the thigh. We're doing this variation with a sacral pulse. The right hand comes onto your sacrum. The longest finger might touch the bottom of your sacrum. The heel of the hand is right at the top of your sacrum. The sacrum's like a little triangle, so your hand kind of comfortably rests on your sacrum. Pushing to those active feet. And when you do that, especially the front, the left heel, feel how that lifts the front hip away from your front thigh a little bit. From there, push into the left arm. Inhale, stretch your ribs away from your waist. Exhale, start pulsing your sacrum. So the longest finger coax the bottom tip of the sacrum away from the low back. And you may release it just a little bit. It's almost like doing a supported pelvic tilt, a very small, tiny move. Inhale, squeeze your right sit bone muscle down the back of the right thigh. Then release your right arm into a neck release. Then bring it up. Inhale, both hands to the floor, step back into your plank and lower all the way to the floor. Let's do a low cobra. Move your hands forward 12 inches. Curl your pubic bone towards the floor. If you're pregnant, you're continuing in those cobras with hands on the hips or squeezing your hands behind the hips for a chest opener. Inhale, pull the ribs forward. Pulling the ribs forward, lower down. Exhale back into your down dog. Warrior two with shoulder shrugs. Step your right foot forward. Press into your active feet. To inhale, float your ribs up. Feel that strength of your foundation and how it makes your upper body very light. I'm going to switch sides so I'm mirroring you. Don't switch sides. Relax your arms. Spread your breath into the upper back. Hold the breath. Shrug the shoulders straight up. Squeeze straight back. Exhale, squeeze. Drag your shoulder blades down the back, not using your arms. Breathe into the upper back. Exhale, squeeze straight back. Squeeze, drag down your back. Send your breath between the shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze bottom tips of shoulder blades. Add your elbows to really squeeze, drag down your back. It's about 1/4 of an inch. Relax your arms, do another round on your own, feeling for supporting your spine by pressing into your active feet, squeezing your sit bone muscles, and using your abdominal muscles. When you're done, inhale, float your arms up. Extended warrior variation. Bring the right forearm on your thigh. Actually don't wrap your arm around. We're doing the sacral pulses. So bring the left arm, and it's the left hand. I am mirroring you. Place your left hand on your sacrum. Squeeze your left sit bone muscle down the back of the thigh. Plug your active feet into the floor. Inhale, pull your ribs away from the waist. You're already getting longer. Exhale, start pulsing, moving the bottom tip of the sacrum away from your low back, and then releasing it gently so that you're doing these little baby pelvic tilts, making some space in your low back. Release your left arm. Inhale, stretch it up overhead. Bring both hands to frame your front foot. Exhale, back into down dog. Lunge with the back knee up, back heel lifted. Step your left foot between the hands. Grab your blocks if you'd like to use them. So bring your back knee down if you need to reach back. I'm going to show it initially with using your blocks. I recommend starting off on the highest edge. Everyone, sink your hips forward and down. If this aggravates your front knee, walk your left foot forward so the ankle stays right underneath the knee. Otherwise, make sure that your left heel stays planted into the ground, and if it doesn't and it lifts up, also walk your left foot forward until you can press that left heel to the floor. Everyone, tuck your right toes. Inhale, pressing through your active feet. Lift the knee away from the floor. Exhale, squeeze your right sit bone muscle down the back of the right thigh. If you have further to go, walk your hands onto your thigh, lifting your chest up, or even bring your arms up overhead. Press into those active feet. Get your breath strong to support you. Exhale, squeeze those sit bone muscles. Press into your active feet. Lower your hands, lower your knee. Setting up for easy twisting lunge. Walk your hands back if they're on blocks, but scoot your left foot forward, or back rather. Set up in this 90-degree lunge, hips over your right knee, left ankle underneath the knee. You might want to block underneath your right hand. Let's do a really wide, easy twisting lunge. The right hand is 18 inches away from the inside of your left foot. Press into those active feet. If you need to pad the right knee, do it now. Inhale, lift your left arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, let your neck relax. Press into those active feet. Inhale, pull your front bottom ribs and your back bottom ribs away from your waist. You're getting longer through your waist. Exhale, push into that right arm and hand. Move the right shoulder blade away from the ear, relaxing your neck a little more. Unwind. Bring both hands back to the floor. Step back into your plank as you exhale and lower all the way to the floor. Knees can be up or down. Unclog your low back if it feels good to you. Boat, clasping hands behind the hips. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other, shoulder blades away from the ears. Curl the pubic bone into the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, the legs if your low back can tolerate it. Lower down. Exhale, down dog. Lunge with the back knee lifted, back heel up. Step your right foot between the hands. Lower the back knee so you can grab your blocks if you're using them. Sink hips forward and down. Get those left sit bone muscles squeezing down the back of the left thigh. Active feet. Tuck your left toes. Inhale, push into both feet to lift the left knee away from the floor. The heel is as straight towards the ceiling as you can get it. The right heel grounds into the floor. Inhale, pull your chest away from your waist. And if you have further to go, hands can come onto your thigh or up overhead. Get your foundation strong. Support your spine and your low back here. Get your breath deep. Bring the hands down, bring your back knee down, set up for twisting, easy twisting lunge, 90-degree lunge. We're making this the wide version. Left hand on the floor, 18 inches away from the inside of the right foot. Push into both feet and your left hand. Inhale the right arm towards the ceiling. Exhale, relax the neck. And you might stretch that right arm towards the back of the room a little more. But make sure you don't lose the connection of your active feet into the floor. Inhale, stretch your breath through the right side ribs and get those ribs to move away from your waist. Exhale, pull the belly in, squeeze those sit bone muscles, and you can traction your ribs even on your exhale. Bring your hands both back to the floor. Exhale, back into your down dog. Warrior one variation with the back knee bent, back heel lifted. Step your left foot forward. First, stand up in a warrior one. Now feel your hips. Make sure they're facing the front of your mat and they're not reaching out to the side of your mat. Step your right foot out to the right if that helps you get that right hip forward. Now, hands on the hips. Pop your right foot forward about 2 inches. Bend that right knee so it's right underneath your hip. And you might have to look down, even adjust your left foot if needed. Sink that right knee down. Hands on your hips, press into them. Get your sit bone muscles squeezing down. Inhale, telescope your ribs up. Exhale, pull the belly in. Squeeze those sit bone muscles to send your tailbone towards the floor. Lengthen your low back. Even if you feel shaking in your right leg or somewhere else, stay with it. Breathe in, feel it. That just means that you're lighting up muscles. Twisting warrior. Straighten that right leg. Bring the heel to the floor. If that is uncomfortable on your hamstring, you could do this with the heel lifted, but leg straight unless it irritates your knee. Inhale the right arm and right ribs towards the ceiling. Exhale, hook your right elbow over your left thigh. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. Make a fist with the bottom hand, cup it with the top hand. Push into both arms, push into your active feet. Inhale, lift your torso away from the floor. Exhale, pull the belly in. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Now, push into your right elbow more, squeezing that right elbow towards your center line. So squeezing into the outside of the left thigh. That will get your right ribs to move towards your left thigh a little bit. And relax your neck. If you're finding your breath is getting short and not being as supportive as you'd like, breathe into your back ribs. Exhale, shoulder blades away from the ears to relax your neck a little more. Unwind, bring both hands to the floor. Exhale, back into down dog or turbo dog. We have the other side to do. So step your right foot forward, warrior one. Stand up, pressing into your feet. Warrior one variation. With the back knee bent, back heel lifted. Bend your back knee, hop that left foot forward, 1 or 2 inches. Sink that knee down. Squeeze your sit bone muscles and crazy down. Push into your hands. Inhale, telescope the ribs up, get taller. Exhale, pull the belly in. Use your sit bone muscles to slide your tailbone towards the floor. Get your low back longer. Press into your active feet. Feel the strength in your foundation, in your legs, in your buttocks, and in your feet. Inhale, pull the breath up from your active feet through those strong legs and pull the breath up along your spine. Exhale, let the breath pull down along both sides of your spine and through your strong active legs and active feet. Twisting warrior. Bring the left heel to the floor. And you might have to hop that foot back about 1 or 2 inches. If your hamstring doesn't like it, lift the heel. You might have to widen your stance, bringing the right foot out to the right 1 or 2 inches. Inhale your left arm and ribs up. Exhale, hook the elbow over the thigh. Make a fist with the bottom hand and cup it with the top hand. Push into both arms. Inhale. Lift your torso away from the floor. Exhale, relax your neck. Inhale, luxuriate in the strength of your foundation. Exhale, feel where you can soften so your energy can be concentrated in your strong foundation. Bring both hands to the floor. Step back into down dog or turbo dog, bending the elbows. Bring your knees down. Camel pose with hands on the hips. I recommend for most people, unless you have this really thick but sturdy mat, not a foam mat, but I recommend for most people at home to fold your mat. And make sure that the folded mat, and you might even have to fold it again, so you're folding it in thirds. But make sure you have a lot of padding underneath your knees and your feet. Tops of the feet on the floor, hands on the hips. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Squeeze those sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Press into your hands. Inhale, telescope the ribs up so you're getting taller. Exhale, squeeze those sit bone muscles down the backs of the thighs. Slide your tailbone down so your low back is getting longer. Inhale, telescope the ribs up, especially those front, mid, and bottom ribs. Exhale, you can come into a little back bend, but feel for squeezing your shoulder blades. It's your upper spine, the upper thoracic spine starts reaching back, but don't hinge in your low back. And if you do, or you feel any pain, back out of it. And if you still feel pain, sit back on your heels. Don't forward fold yet. Keep using your hands to coax your tailbone, your sacrum down away from your low back. Keep squeezing your sit bone muscles. This is not to be a really deep camel. It's just to be a small baby camel. So you can feel the strength of your buttocks. Feel for supporting your low back with the strength of your foundation. Then slowly come out of this. Sit back for a moment on your heels. And if you folded up your mat, unwind your mat. And lie down. Windshield wipering your legs. Have your feet as wide as your mat. Rest the back of your skull on the floor. Arms can be wherever they feel comfortable. Active feet even here, but lessen the pressure of the pressing down. Inhale, allow both legs to fall towards your left. Now, for most people, the knees are not going to reach the floor. This is just a small twisting in your low back and in your mid back. Exhale, bring the legs back up to center. And as you inhale, allow both knees to fall to the right. And if you have furniture in the way, just scoot a little on your mat, but make sure that your feet are still mat width apart and that your whole spine is still cushioned by your mat. Continue on your own. You could slow it down. You could speed it up a little bit, but not so much that you're not breathing and feeling into your low back. Small, gentle movements, breathing and feeling is another way of supporting your low back. When we push ourselves through pain, and don't stop and feel the pain and breathe into it and assess, what are we doing that's increasing the pain and what can I change to move away from that pain? That's, when we take that time, that's a way to support our low back. When we don't take the time, that is not supportive. When you're done, come back to center. Back release pose. Bring your right ankle over the left thigh, right near the knee. For some of you, this might be where you stay, bringing your left hand as close to your hip crease on your left thigh as you can get it, and your right hand on your right thigh, near the hip bones, but on your thighs. And you can work on pressing forward and slightly up on your thighs. This is great if your low back is really tweaky and you're not forward folding. If you have further to go, lift the left foot away from the floor, grab behind the left thigh. Your right hand goes in between the left thigh and the right thigh, in that little space that you created with both legs. If you have further to go still, grab in front of your shin. Relax the back of your neck and your skull. Don't press down into your head, just let your head relax. Everyone, breathe in from the bottom tip of your spine, that bottom tip of the tailbone, all the way up the whole length of your spine and in through your skull. Exhale. If you have further to go, you could squeeze your left thigh towards the chest. Don't do this so much that your neck starts arcing away from the floor. And if your head is actually lifted away from the floor, back out of this so that your head can comfortably rest on the floor. Release both feet to the floor. Unwind left ankle over the right thigh. You could do this stage 1. If you have further to go, grab either behind the right thigh or in front of the right shin. Relax your neck. Inhale all along your spine and into the low back. Exhale, squeeze the right thigh towards the chest, only if you have further to go. Bring both feet back to the floor. Pause here to allow your low back and your sacrum to settle. For Savasana, you could stay here with the knees bent, have your feet as wide as the mat, knock your knees together. If you're near your couch or a chair, you could turn around so that your hips and your buttocks are right up against the chair or the couch, and you rest the backs of the calves on the couch. Otherwise, you can straighten your legs. Everyone, just sink into the support of the floor or whatever prop you're resting on. Let your deep breath go. If you're at home, you could set a timer, like on your phone, for 5 or 10 minutes and do a longer Shavasana. Slowly bring your attention back to your whole body. Take a deep, nourishing breath. Fill your whole core from the bottom of your pelvic bowl to the top inside of your skull. Exhale, rinse that nourishment and the deepness of your own breath through every cell of your body. If the knees are not already bent, bend your knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. Pause to settle your sacrum and your low back. Then slowly roll over to one side or the other, using the strength of your arms, another foundation of strength. Push into the floor. To inhale, let your torso be light. Just push into the floor with your hands and the strength of your arms to lift your torso up. Let your neck relax the whole way up. And once you're upright, use that bottom hand on your whole cheek and lift your head back up. Come and find your easy, cross-legged, comfortable seated position. So if that means a different leg position, do that. Come back into your Ujjayi breath. Push into your sit bones, your active feet, and your legs. Already feel how that strengthens in your pelvis. Then from there, inhale, telescope the ribs. You're getting longer. When you get longer, you're supporting your low back. Exhale, pull the belly in to support your low back. Inhale, just luxuriate in your own strength. Strength of your foundation, your breath, your legs, your sit bones, and your active feet. And your abdominals. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Inhale into the back of your heart, the mid-back. Namaste. Thank you, and happy whatever day it is for you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evening.